In the corridors of higher education, where dreams take flight and futures are forged, a darker reality lurks in the shadows. Across college campuses in Bhubaneswar, an invisible epidemic called drug abuse is claiming young minds, one pill, one injection at a time. This is not just a story of addiction, it's a narrative of loss, hope, and redemption. Drug abuse inside college campuses is real, and it's time we address the elephant in the room. E. Ritav, 28, once a victim, now a beacon of hope. At his rehabilitation center, Purnaseva Foundation, in a prime city locality, morning light streams through windows as young residents gather for the daily counseling session. Years ago, Ritav was on the other side of these walls, fighting his own demons. Today, he guides others towards recovery.
I went to my last rehab. Like that was my last admission. Then there was a change in my mind, in my thought, that a lot of crises I have faced, a problematic condition I was facing. So I have decided to let's change myself first. Then I will go through it. What I'm going to do. Uh, then after I've stopped, then after I stopped doing drugs, alcohol, by a simple program, we say it 12-step program through it, and then after knowing, after practicing or implementing that program, I realized that if I can overcome through that phase, although I can help someone else.
There are survivors whose eyes carry the weight of battles fought and won. A former American literature student at one of Bhubaneswar's prestigious institutes, his descent into addiction began with a single pill during the exam season. What followed was a 2 year spiral that nearly cost him everything: his education, his family, his life.
I believed in myself that even though these drugs that were injected in my brain, or you can say dopamine and atropine, I used these levels to complete my higher levels of education. And as far as possible, I did many social service work. So that's how I got into drugs, just to know that what happens next. So my request to the young generation, which are in fact the backbone of our country, not to use those drugs, because from use it is misuse, and from misuse it is abuse.
ମୁଁ ସ୍କୁଲ ଲାଇଫ୍ ପରଠୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ନିଶାର ଏ ସିଗାରେଟ୍ ଫିଗାରେଟ୍ ସ୍କୁଲ ଲାଇଫ୍ରୁ ବାହାରିଲା ପରେ ପଶିଗଲି, ସାଙ୍ଗସାଥିରେ ଟାଣି ଦେଉଥିଲି। ତାପରେ ଏମିତି ଝାମା ଝାମା ନିଶା ହୁଏ। ତାପରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆଉ ଟିକେ ନିଶା ଦରକାର ହୁଏ, କ'ଣ କରିବି, ମଦ ଗଞ୍ଜେଇ ଏମିତି କିଛି ବର୍ଷ ଚାଲିଲା ପରେ ନିଶା ମାନେ କାଟୁ କରେନି ମୋତେ। ଆଉ ଟିକେ ହାର୍ଡ଼ ନିଶା ଦରକାର, କେମିତି କ'ଣ କରିବି, ଡ୍ରଗ୍ସକୁ ଟିକେ ପଳେଇଲି। ଡ୍ରଗ୍ସ ଏମିତି ଖାଇବା ଫଳରେ ଏମିତି ନିଶା ଗୋଟେ, ସିଏ ଏମିତି ନିଶା ଭାଇ, ମାନେ ଖାଇବ ତ ଝୁମିବ ଟିକେ, ଝୁମିଲା ଭଳିଆ ନିଶାଟା। ଆଉ ଏମିତି ଅଭ୍ୟାସରେ ପଡ଼ିଗଲୁ। ମୋର ଗୋଟେ ସାଙ୍ଗ ଥିଲା, ସେ ସେଣ୍ଟରରେ ଆଡ଼ମିସନ୍ ଥିଲା, ସିଏ ମୋତେ ଗୋଟେ ବାର୍ତ୍ତା ଦେଲା, ଆଉ ସେଣ୍ଟରରେ କିଛି ଦିନ ପାଇଁ ରହ, ଆଉ ତୁ ଠିକ୍ ହେଇଯିବୁ। ଆଉ ସେ ସାଙ୍ଗ ଆଡ଼ମିସନ୍ ମୋତେ ବି କରେଇଲା, ତା ପାଇଁ ମୁଁ ଆଜି ଠିକ୍ ହେଇକି ଅଛି। ଆଉ ଏ ସେଣ୍ଟର ଆମ ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ ମନ୍ଦିରଠୁ ବି ବଡ଼।
In the bustling streets of Bhubaneswar, Kalyan has watched the city's drug trade evolve over time as someone who's seen the rise of drug abuse. His weathered face tells stories of how college hotspots became hunting grounds for peddlers. From initial contact in college canteens to late night deliveries near hostels, he's seen the network grow like a spider's web, trapping unsuspecting students through seemingly innocent classmates who double as dealers.
The main source should be stopped. The yeah, the authority, the competent authority should take care to stop these kind of sources and to get rid of, and the local police or whoever the our agencies are involved, they should be more aware of and more concerned about that the college areas and these cartel shops should have been properly examined. There will be a proper seize and search operation, and you have to get those people and stop the supply. Then only it might could gonna have a impact to stop this kind of. Yeah, you can see in Jaidebher areas, you can see in Shahid Nagar, you can see nearby Apollo Hospital, and nearby Khandagiri. Those kind of areas are there, which I know because I had certain friends who used to do these kind of things earlier.
Mr. Biswajit Panda, who is a veteran counselor, knows the process inside out. His office at Genesis Rehabilitation Center has witnessed thousands of stories over 20 years. The veteran counselor's voice carries both wisdom and wariness as he discusses the relapse rate among college students and other key facets of drug abuse.
Even I was a victim of addiction. So it so happened like when I came into recovery and got the message of recovery and the way I just was able to like pull myself out of it, then it suddenly came to my mind कि this thing should pass on like to others, like people who are still suffering, the still suffering addicts, because I know the pain I have gone through, and I have seen the pain through which my family has gone through. So it had a great impact on me. And after coming to recovery and regaining and a transformation which took within myself, the way I evolved. So I was a very so to say, normal human being kind of thing came into my mind. Well, what I was doing, where I was up to. An addict, addict tends to like its pattern of behavior and temperament is something different from normal people. So WHO has declared this as a disorder, and it has called it as the third highest killer disease in the world.
We also are discussing how to intensify, how to enlarge the scope of de-addiction centers, how to create more de-addiction centers, and take out this taboo, the taboo that is attached with taking drugs. That also has to be taken out, removed somehow, so that people who are really in a very vulnerable position are addicted to drugs but are not able to come forward. They are not able to accept this and express that in front of others. So we would like to explore those areas also, so that how especially the young boys and girls, how they can come out freely and express about their helplessness or their vulnerability, and then we would like to counsel them and to take them back to mainstream and make them a responsible citizen of the country.
The rising tide of drug abuse in Bhubaneswar college campuses threatens not just individual students but the very fabric of our academic community. Yet, through coordinated efforts between college administrations, counseling centers, and local law enforcement, we can turn the tide. The time to act is now, because every young life saved from addiction is a future preserved. Kalpit from Prameyaenglish 7 Digit.